Okay, let's try this again. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Why does he start stun immune? I missed something. That's fine. Hey, Kevin. Still not sure why he started stun immune. Not gonna worry about it too much. Oh, did I stun him right at the start? Is that what happened? I must have parried him. Yep, I tried to parry. Okay, okay, as long as it makes sense. Hey, Manny, how's it going? Okay, that's a fun little wrinkle. We have one more path on this quest. Let's get some more in today. Hey, Viraj, how's it going? Okay. Prowess, power shield. Mutants get more power. You can use Brutal Refresher to try and play into Arms Race. That's fine. Mutants, mutants, mutants. Any reason not to just bring my biggest mutants? Let's make sure we have one. It doesn't do poison or incinerate. But yeah, this looks fine. We want to be a little bit careful with unblockable there on the first one, just because of Red Guardian, but this looks fine. Just got 7-star Spider Gwen. Oh, yeah. She definitely is solid for that. Oh, right. I remember this is a relatively difficult boss fight, right? So you just have to dex, and then he'll throw. Okay, that's fine. And you gotta play around sadist. That's easier than it could be. One, two, three, four, five. Probably Sunspot. Maybe Sauron. He doesn't do a whole lot extra. This is probably more than we need. Let's make sure we have someone for the boss. I'm sorry, Manny. I don't know anything about how those choices are made. I mean, if you don't understand why people are excited about Omega Red and Corvus, then that just means you don't play war at a high level, Viraj. But yes, I am very happy with my long shot. Hey, Moe, how's it going? Wait, where is she? There she is. Okay, I'll bring somebody else, but Grit's gonna be helpful. There we go. There's the prowess. quite a kill. But pretty good. Maybe we can finish off with this special one here. We might have been able to if we'd crit, but that part didn't work out. That's fine. Like I said, I can't comment on whether it's fair or not because I have no idea what the criteria are. But I'm sorry for your loss. Hey, Alejandro. Welcome. Hey, JJ. A crit, my kingdom for a crit. Yeah, that was bad. It's fine. Oh, did I stop gaining prowess on basics or something? No? Have I just been really lucky with burst damage? That doesn't feel like it either. I don't know, man. Who knows with Sauron? There's a good chance something's off with his code. Finally got Paragon. Nice! Yeah, those are very strong options. I'm doing good, Jackie. Just enjoying a lazy Sunday. Well, relatively lazy. I did like an hour of work this morning because I couldn't get it out of my head and I had to put it on paper, but that's my problem. I don't know why I decided to use Toad here instead of Sunspot, when Toad is obviously for the skill champs. But it is what it is. He'll hit hard. They don't, like, reduce ability accuracy through block or something, do they? Because this has felt really weird. I'm never that unlucky with Toad. Excuse you. Very uncool. I will definitely be looking at that one, Jay. I haven't done it yet, and I don't remember it from beta testing, at least not without seeing it, but God knows I've certainly heard about it enough. So I'm sure we'll talk about it. Nice, Jackie. That does make sense.
After exploring Act 8, doing Spring of Sorrow and Necropolis, I started start the CCP challenges. Started with Mojo because he's ranked up. I'm going to do my run later. I can't offer you anything because I haven't done any of them yet. I have the ranked up characters. Now I even have a 7-star Jabari, which was one of the main things that I was waiting on. But yeah, I just haven't done it yet. I'll be doing one of them soon. It is on my list. I just haven't yet. Probably after the beta. Yeah, special one's better. Figured it was worth a shot, given that we did have the personal stun lined up, but it wasn't. I mean, I'm not getting no crits, but I definitely am feeling the challenge rating with my 6 stars. I think you're thinking about that the wrong way, TC. Um, the reason that science champs thus far have mostly been the ones to have Sunder is because there's more crit resistance in Mystic than anywhere else. There is a little bit in skill, yeah, but not that much. And so Sunder only helps in those specific matchups against Killmonger and Korg, and we haven't really done a whole lot of countering for those particular characters with mutants since Sunder became a thing, right? Because if you think about, like, Danny kind of needs it, sure, but she's not really aimed at Killmonger, and she handles Korg fine with the neuros and with the negative energy. Like, she doesn't need the crit there. Onslaught is all dot based. Negasonic is all dot based. Would any of them have needed Sunder? So why would we have shipped Sunder in a mutant by now? It's not that we never will, it's just I don't think it has particularly made sense just yet. Now, if we had shipped, like, Storm X, after Jessica, or sorry, after Zemo, then sure, maybe. But we did. Nice, Jay. Yeah, Toad is an absolute blast. Yeah, and you kind of touched on, like, I know that this is going to be endlessly requoted. I'm just going to say it first, and then we'll deal with the game of telephone. Part of the reason Sauron hasn't been buffed yet is because he's doing so well. Oh my god, DLL said Sauron was good enough. He must be an idiot. This is what Kabam thinks. No, calm the F down. My dislike of Sauron's design is well documented. Um, but there was that bug fix on him last year, if you remember, where we realized that his sig said that it was a flat increase to the prowess path or to the prowess potency, but it wasn't. And so we fixed that, and so he got a lot stronger if you had sigs on it. And so we intentionally had to leave that, like, give that some breathing room, see how he did. And it's not that a buff for him is off the table. That's not my call anyway. But his data's pretty decent. So any buff that we would ship for him at this point would be fairly minor, honestly. Because for anybody who's played much with him lately, he's not bad. My issues with him are mostly design ones. I should have saved the striker until after the special one, but that's fine. Come on, buddy. There we go. Ouchie. Double ouch. Hmm. I understand what you're saying, nerd, but I do want to push back on that because if they're passive, then they're not debuffs. I know what you mean. You're talking about, like, active debuffs versus passive debuffs, active buffs versus passive buffs, because I used to say the same thing, but that is the reason we don't say that anymore is because that's not really accurate. A passive bleed has more in common with a passive armor up than it does with a bleed debuff in some ways. Not in all, don't take that to the bank, but just something to watch for. That's what I get for trying to dex up close. Jeez. Hey, Jason, how's it going? Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I personally am annoyed with, Jay, is that, like, I think Sauron could feel better. But that's different than him needing to be better, if that makes sense. But that's the thing, TC, that those science champs do gain from the Sunder. Like, I put it on Photon, right? She gains a lot from critting more reliably. She has a high base crit rate. She has mediocre critical damage, but her any of her critical hits are magnified by her overload debuffs. It's very important to her consistent damage output that she crits often, and one of her like two of her targets were Rintra and Doom. So Sunder does a lot more for her than it would have for most of the mutants that have come out in the last year or so. Yeah, it does sound good here. How do you resist Sunspot's first hit of heavy? Because he has a chance. He basically has built-in stand your ground. I know, TC, that the way his heavy works is by far one of my biggest issues with him. He drives me insane. That's amazing. I ended up blocking that special one because I dashed back and tried to immediately throw a special 3, and he beat me to it. The jerk. Anyway, regen, please.
That Vicious is no joke.
Man, that fight is built for her. Thanks so much for the super chat, Jason. 8 paths left and 8.4, then 3 rank 3s. Nice. Yeah, I think that makes sense. So if you do, yeah, I'm assuming you have all of the Omega champions then, based on your question. I know I remember seeing you talking about it in the members chat, but I don't remember exactly what you had versus the others. Okay, so assuming you have all of them, if you get long shot, then if you can get used to Quicksilver, I think you would actually enjoy him quite a bit. I know that his combos are a major ask, but like the actual rotation or like gameplay required of Quicksilver is just bone simple. Like if you have a rank 3 Quicksilver, most of the time you're just going to do 5-hit combos and then do striker, medium, light, medium, special 2, and the fight's over. Okay, all but Quicksilver. Okay, then I'll put that aside. You can learn him later. And if Omega Sentinel isn't duped, then I'm less excited about her. So at that point, I think I'd probably recommend Mole Man. He's a solid two-way. He has utility in war and questing. And on top of that, he's also fairly simple in his game plan, where it's like half the time you just parry heavy a few times, block once, and then hit the opponent until they die. Oh, okay, I misunderstood. I do think Quicksilver is good without the dupe, um, but I would be a little bit slower to do it. Yeah, Mole Man's a good one. Yeah, if I had a gem, I would give it to Omega Sentinel over Quicksilver immediately, without thinking. So use Science Gems, but don't use regen rate modification. Fun. Please be built to actually look for expiry and not the reapplication of the striker. We'll see. Okay. Furies and Strikers. Who's on the path? Make sure we have an answer for Warlock. Why is Warlock on this path? That's rather rude. Like, I can Zerg him down, but that's annoying. Okay, that's fine. That's also fine. Cool. Hey, Stig. Yeah, but see, if the entire path is built around science champions and your answer is bring a cosmic, then something went wrong, right? Like, I understand that that's how you react to it when it comes out, but because this is a beta, that's the kind of thing that you should be on the lookout for. That shouldn't be necessary. If I remember correctly, Thing doesn't interact properly with this node, so this is going to be annoying in other ways, but I'll figure it out. Yeah, Quicksilver would be okay. He wouldn't be particularly special. Oh, Thing needs a striker. Whoops. Because Quicksilver doesn't have any Fury effects. Yeah, it's fine. Do this for now. Can always go back. Yeah, no, I know how cap works here. Never gotten a 7-star science from a Titan or a base. Yeah, that's funny. Not sure the heal block is long enough to be worth the debuff immunity here. Because, like, you can't really benefit from the... That was annoying. You can't really benefit from the physical vulnerabilities if you're doing that. Like, it's better to just hit them. I'm not sure that one works. This is 9.1.2 body block. Hey, Eternity. Yeah, I have. The feedback isn't going to me, but trust me, if it was, I would have heard plenty about that path by now. At this point, when somebody joins the stream and I see 913, I just go, here we go. But I hope you filled out the survey. And I'm glad you enjoyed it overall. No unstoppable for you. I tried to dex that. It didn't feel like it worked. It's okay.
Curious how much this hurts. Because I didn't have protection up. Not that much. I'd say I prefer DLL. Is what it is, though. Come on, buddy. Whoa! Oh, that doesn't work through block, does it? Okay, how things feel after intercepts. Or, wall unstoppable. Okay, I think I missed the refresh one. I was just playing the node wrong, because this is fine now. Hmm. Yeah, I've heard good things about Cap as a 7-star. I still don't have him. I'm not sure those physical vulnerabilities are necessarily big enough if they're not getting around the armor here.
Should have made sure that I had the kinetic potential before taking him to a bar of power. That's dumb. How do I do that? Why am I not going unstoppable anymore? Like, am I really getting that unlucky with infection? Yeah, that's fine. Just remove Warlock. Like, Thing can technically do it, Cap can technically do it. But that's stupid. Negs technically as well with the crit resist, but stupid. Oh no. Dang it. No. Ah! I feel like the heal block is a bit too short, honestly. Like, even now that I'm playing it better, Like, just between trying to line up your knockdowns and that, it just feels like a little much going on. I don't know. I might be wrong. It's either that or it feels like the optimal loop is parry heavy, and that's like, as people called out, that's great for Cap, but it's kind of boring for a lot of them. Yeah, like it's close, but I think 15 seconds would feel better. I just feel like I can't really get rolling. Yeah, like, no offense at all, Jay, but I don't care what rank 3 Hulk tore through because on a path built for science characters, that's like roughly the equivalent of Herc did well. Scorpion, I have no idea who you're talking about. Okay. Nobody's saying there's anything wrong, Jay. Nobody is saying that. It just doesn't really say anything about how the path is built. I'm trying to provide feedback on the structure of the quest, and like I fully understand that like bluntly most of y'all just aren't in the playtesting mindset. It's not the job you're used to. The job of a player is, what do I have that does this? Cool. Checkbox, move on, right? Like that's pretty much the goal. How do I conquer this problem? I move on. The job of a playtester, the job of a game designer is how much are like is the ask clear? Are you properly rewarded for playing into the ask? And is that fun? Right? It's not is there an answer? It's not is there one, two, or three answers, but like how many answers are there? How do they feel? How are people going to get through this? Right? And that's the eye I'm bringing to this for it. Hey, Misery. Is Warlock going to be removed? I don't know. I'm going to recommend that he be removed, but that's not the same thing. And like throwing the heavies actually, when you have the increased combat power rate, it makes it more difficult to do things. Like, so I've found myself not at the special I want multiple times here. Thanks, Vega. Appreciate it. Everything generates more power, Scorpion. That's why it says your combat power rate is increased. Well, you say Warlock's not a problem. Who did you use for him, Jackie? Because if your answer is, well, I just blitzed through it with a rank 3 7-star science character and it wasn't a problem because he died before I like had an issue with degen, then personally that's not good enough for me. The purpose of all of the rest of the fights is do this. The purpose of that fight is do this fast enough you don't die. And that's like that's out of character. Yeah, that was my fault. My fault. Again. Didn't time it quite right for the incinerate there. Ouch. Okay, throw. What am I messing up with the incinerate? Placing an Odin on your champ? Okay, but that's thinking like a war planner, not a quest designer. You shouldn't have to do that. Yeah, it's my fault. Oh, that's why. Okay. It's because the power through sickness is keeping her from being at 0. There we go. I knew I was missing something. And there I just tried to block it as though it were not unblockable. I have no idea why. Not unlimited. Actually, I'm not sure if regular testers get any at all, TC. I know the CCP does, but I don't think everybody who comes in and plays this has access to the same thing. Wait, what? Oh, I know what happened. Okay, let's just close this out, 'cause I'm clearly not playing well enough. And not having access to the Incinerate is actually slowing Shocker down quite a bit. There are plenty of other answers for this. You don't need, Prowler. So, common misconception, misunderstanding, complaint, Scorpion. Um, the first hit of your specials is not glancing. Like, I promise that's not what's happening. However, because in our game, ability accuracy is itself frame based, there's no such thing as an offensive ability or a defensive ability. What there is abilities that happen when one character is getting hit, or abilities that happen when the other character is getting hit, right? Um, and because glancing reduces offensive ability accuracy, that means that it reduces the ability accuracy of the opponent when they are striking Storm. And so if you activate your special attack in the same frame that you are landing your last hit of your basic combo, then that basic glances, turns off your abilities, and covers that frame of on activation, right? The first hit will be fine. But this misunderstanding comes from the fact that whatever ability you're looking for isn't the first hit. It's on activation. Prowler's great. I've seen a lot of really, really good things with Prowler. I've also seen a lot of people underestimating him. It's fine. Give it time. Yeah, Luke is really, really good, Jay. And I'm honestly just tired of arguing with people who are going to insist on being wrong about it for the next year. Okay, Mystics with Strikers. That's all fine. We definitely need a striker for that boy, because otherwise he's going to be annoying. That's also fine. Is this something Toad can do? Yep. Yeah, I've used Longshot enough. We don't. I mean, we can bring all of them and just swap out Toad later. What do you mean, think otherwise, TC? They seem to legitimately not be seeing it, Abdo. How's it going, man? Like it's weird because like I would call it Battlegrounds brain, except it's not even that. Like I've seen people who are like, "No, I'm not talking about Battlegrounds. I'm talking about war and questing. Why would I ever need Luke when I have these other science champs?" And it's like I have answers, but if you're asking that very stupid question, you're not going to listen to me anyway. So it is what it is. Yeah, I've seen him do well in Battlegrounds too. Yeah. Like it's totally fine, Misery. Like I know why people are slow to change their minds, right? So especially in a game like this, so many of us, kind of similar to what I said earlier about like player versus playtester, player versus designer. So many of us are hardwired by this game to think in terms of checkboxes. What I have answers X question as well as I think X question needs to be answered. And so I'm not going to think about why new answer for because I already have the question answered. Like, why would I think about that? And if I'm not even going to really start thinking about it, then I'm not going to change my mind. And that's what leads to, in my opinion, so many people in this game saying things along the lines of, I'm not excited about blah, 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 because I don't see any reason that I need them when I have these others. It's because they've checked the boxes. And it's like, it doesn't matter if the new character actually does do new things. It doesn't matter if the new character doesn't have weaknesses that the old option does. It doesn't matter if they have immunities and can do things in different ways. Like, they just, they're not starting down that road. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of it either. Yeah, I've heard the same feedback, Easy. When I get there, I'll see if I can see any way through it, but it sounds it sounds like there's no way that the beta isn't just going to be full of feedback on that node in particular. Ugh, dumb. Come on, throw it. Throw it, you big lug. Yeah, I agree with you, Misery. I like there are certainly there are certainly characters that are otherwise strong that are not particularly useful at a certain level of battlegrounds. Now, I will say that certain level of battlegrounds is, in my opinion, much higher than a lot of people pretend it is. Like you got a bunch of people who are, I don't know, ending each season in Arcane, which is not an insult. I do that plenty. They're ending in Arcane and they're like, you just can't use attackers like, I don't know, pick someone. Because I've probably used them as an attacker. I think it's very silly. But the point is that, yes, at a certain level of Battlegrounds, there are plenty of characters that cease to be viable. At minimum, there are going to be metas where Luke is still very, very good. It's more than that, Eternity. Because this game is broader than one character per class. And so if that's what you're insisting on, I don't think you're really. Excuse me. I don't think that's fair to the conversation. Whoops. Throw it. Ouch. Holy, he came out of nowhere with that sidestep. I should have been paying a little bit more attention, but that was still extremely rude. Yeah, I have to get through the fights before I can respond, JJ, and remember that you are on a bit of a lag, so have some patience, please. But yes, support can probably help you. The thing to remember there is that it is the weekend, and you're not going to like the other side of this. It's the weekend, and tomorrow is a holiday in Vancouver, and so you're going to have to wait a little bit. If you're willing to wait until Tuesday, then yeah, you can. Whoops. Bit of a waste there. Then yeah, you probably can get back in. But I know that's also probably not exactly what you had in mind. Yeah, you're fine to play in Battlegrounds or War or anything else. But if you want them to, and honestly, you're fine to do something else as long as you're done before they come back. But if you want to be placed into a new quest, then yeah, you don't want to be sitting in one when they do get back to you. Yeah, I get it easy. Coffee or nap? Nap is fair, man. Congrats on the arena grind. Let's not double down, JJ. I just read that back. If you understand that you shouldn't call someone a name and then say they apologized for being a name, you're calling them that again, right? Check yourself a little bit on there. I understand it's possible to get frustrated. Yeah, easy. Luke being bleed immune is absolutely important. Yeah, I agree. Rank 3 Maw is very good on attack. And yeah, Photon, Sandman, Luke, and Thing. Um, but I know that it's a small pool because that was something that I looked at when I was building Photon. And when I gave Titania that synergy. That was my fault. Don't overtrust your stuns. I love long shot. Yes. Yes, that is also advice for this Battlegrounds meta. I've only played 3 matches of it, but Definitely got hit in the face more than the normal amount. Nope, that was stupid. As I threw it, I was like, oh wait, she has way too much extra defensive combat power rate. That's fine. Let's see if we can regen it. Alright, come here. Oh, that sucks. Okay, not ideal. We can probably still just get through it and not worry about regenning, because I think lining up the regen is just not going to be worth it. Nah, I appreciate your effort, Eternity, but like Sam needs more damage. I'll be the first to champion someone who's doing fine and whose utility justifies their damage. Sam needs more damage. Sorry for that 1 second. Just making a note for myself on Monday. And you know what, TC? I have played with a with a rank 3 7-star Sig 200 Sam Wilson, and it's not worth it. It's just not. Ouch! She caught me off guard. Whoa! Excuse you! Excuse you! Oh my god. I did dex that. That's fine. That's fine. We'll clear it out. I should have just revived Toad, honestly, but let's see if Werewolf can do this. That was dumb. It's terrifying. Hadn't really processed how double hit mediums would work with Jabari like that. Hey, do you mind throwing that special too? No? So for those who are still behind where I was very recently, what happened was the first hit of my medium triggered a rupture, which triggered a cleanse, which gave her a charge, which gave her a counterpunch charge, which triggered the unstoppable against the second hit of my medium. Fun. That was her apologizing for catching me with Toad when I definitely did. Nah, I'm not with you on the Titan thing, TC. Bluntly, and I'm going to include you in this, people in general need to stop whining about the Titan pool. Like, it's just, you open enough. We specifically said that, like, we weren't going to do bad 7 stars. And we were going to make sure that they felt good, right? But we also were very clear we weren't going to be putting, like, Hercules out and that kind of stuff. And people were like, yeah, okay, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. And then we put characters that fit that description in the Titan Crystal, and people are like, but they're not good enough. No, stop whining. Like, I don't care. I really don't care. I know I'm getting blunt today, but if the point is for them to be good, then for the player base to then move the goalpost to not just good, but, quote, good for a Titan Crystal, and then to define that according to what they want. No, you don't get to move the goalposts. And you definitely don't get to move the goalposts and then complain that the terms have changed when you changed them. Take care. Take care, Apto. I don't care, TC. Like, there's going to be variation. This is another instance of, like, the player base in MCOC saying that they accept something and then not accepting it. They're like, I know that there's going to be a difference between characters, and then going, there's too much of a difference between characters. You don't get to tune that. Like, especially when people are complaining about Luke. I don't care that Photon is better than Luke. Luke is good enough. Luke is more than good enough. You just have to get over the fact that you are sometimes not going to get what you want in a crystal with 18 options. That's never going away. The Titan crystal is better than the old feature system. It's way better than basics. But you are not always going to get over you want, or you're not always going to get what you want, and you have to accept that. Or you don't have to accept that, but I certainly don't have to listen to complaining about it and pretend like it's gonna move the needle. Especially, and this is adding another thing, like, the degree to which I have no sympathy here is significantly magnified by how many people complain to me about their Titan pulls while they have 7-star copies of my champions that I have spent thousands and thousands of units failing to get. If that doesn't justify some deaf ears, I don't know what does. Yeah, Monkey. Red Skull's very good. I know this is probably just going to be clipped. I'm ready for the rage video that just says Kabam DLL doesn't care and then leaves out all of the context where I justify it. But whatever. It's Sunday. I don't feel like holding a press conference. I'm just talking to y'all. Okay, but TC, like, Luke going under the radar because of how good Photon is not a problem with the Titan crystal. It's not a problem with the pull. It's not a problem with the system. It's a problem with players' reactions to it. And yes, you're correct that, like, that reaction is expected. That reaction is logical. That reaction is inevitable. But it's not a problem with the system. It's not a reason to change the system. And if it's not a reason to change the system, then it's not really even criticism of the system. Not really. It's just complaining. And that is why I don't care. That really is the core of it. Because, like, I'm here for criticism that can lead to changes. I'm not here for, hey, this game I play that the core pillar of is dice rolls got me a dice roll I didn't like. Join the club. I've been playing for almost 10 years now. God knows I've had bad pulls. It's the game. My first Titan was Kushal. It's okay, Cashew. It's okay. Like, again, it's the game we play. It's not like I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at any of y'all. I'm happy for you for getting that, really. It's just gonna limit my sympathy for the complaints. Need that serpent for my Cosmic 2 to 3 gem? Yeah, man. I've pulled so many Cosmic Tier 6 glass catalysts. And, like, I have good 7-star Cosmics. But I want my boy. Yeah, Symbiote Supreme's a good one. Maybe onto something there, easy. Hey, amigo, how's it going? Yeah, I like Ironheart quite a bit, Jay. I agree. Yeah, TC, that was directed at the wider community. No, the only thing I'm directing at you is that if, like, was that specific part of that response where it's like, if it's not a problem with the system, then it's like or really just that I don't see it as a problem with the system, right? Like, yes, people are going to complain. Yes, people are going to undervalue certain polls because of other polls. But that doesn't mean that, like, we need to change who we put in the Titan crystal. That's the core of my response to you in particular. Yeah, I do have Hulk, although I'm going to continue to pretend I don't, Jackie. But I still don't have Mantis. And I had to pull Chavez out of my Necropolis selector. C'est la vie. Okay. We're punishing specials, we're throwing heavies. I remember this one.
What do? You can just be like a generic cosmic, right? Yeah, that'll be fine. Okay, we need Mystic, Skill, Science. Or sorry, Mutant, Skill, Science. We need to give him... Yeah, we can just pull the relic off the other blade. That's fine. No, you know what? Let's double down. Luke is fine for Dorm under these conditions.
I mean, if you want TC, but I don't know. I'm not really interested because I can guess that it's probably something along the lines of like the Titan crystals aren't exciting enough because the base pool was too good. And it's like, sure, you can say that. Definitely nothing we can do. And the base pool needed to be a certain level of good for people to be excited about 7 stars, which a lot of people didn't want coming. So like if there was a mistake made there, it's understandable why. And so I don't know. I don't know what there is to say. Yeah, Snoops, I get it. Yep, okay, it sounds like that's exactly what you were saying. You think the Titans are too exciting? That's the only answer to that would for us to be intentionally to softball our new characters, TC. We can't do that. If the core of your complaint is that my team is doing our jobs too well, then I think we're kind of yeah, we're at a bit of an impasse there. I don't have any issue with the UI on iPad, amigo, personally. Yeah, easy. Exactly. The fact that the Titan crystal is there from launch, so helpful. Jesus. All right, let's restart this path. She can put down her headband of intellect there for a little bit. We'll be okay. You guys check mails all the time? You mean like in game? Oh, game team? I don't know. I don't. It's not my job. I'm assuming someone does. Okay. Nope, 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 nope. Haha. Okay. Worth it. Hmm. I mean, you say all the time. If your question is on a holiday weekend, probably not. But they're probably pretty good about it. Whether they have time to respond is going to depend on your question. I'm not really concerned about that TC, no. Because, like, a year from now, when Onslaught, Kushala, and Serpent are all in the base pool, more people will have them. And by definition, that makes them less exciting. I mean, we could have nerfed Kate, sure, but as I've talked about before, like, Kate getting through rebalancing had nothing to do with her 7-star release or anything else, right? Kate getting through her rebalancing is because A, Necropolis wasn't out. Kate looking like she should have been rebalanced is in part because Necropolis was bugged, as I've talked about. But the other thing is just that, like, we made the same mistake that most of the community did, which is thinking that she needed to be viable as a Battlegrounds nuke. Because that's why she's tuned too high. I don't think her Tranquilize is too strong. It's just that it dodged Necropolis when it wasn't supposed to. I don't think her utility is too good. Although, you know, if she released later, she probably would have had Pursuit instead of True Accuracy on her specials. Um, but the biggest problem is just that we wanted her to be viable as a Battlegrounds nuke, and we should have dropped her back a bit and said, no, she has enough utility, she has enough long fight tools that, like, it's okay if she's more Quicksilver, Mr. Fantastic speeds in Battlegrounds. And a whole bunch of people wouldn't have used her, like, at all. But we should have accepted that, right? Because the reason we didn't is the same reason that everybody was asking at the time for us not to, which was that, sure, Kate is very good in Battlegrounds, but if she's even a little bit slower, then she stops getting through things in good times, and then she stops being worth it, right? And so like it's tough. Bluntly, amigo, no. I'm not going to do that. For one thing, it's not my job. Balance decisions are made by the balance team, and I'm not on the balance team, so I don't want to. Whoops, that's bad. I don't want to speak to their process. But the more important aspect is that, like, if I took you step by step, even if I was accurate, in this community, that then just becomes ammo to argue with every single decision we make. Whoops. Like, I'm sorry. I would love to answer that question, but I've just seen that too many times. And I appreciate it, Jackie. I do think the degree to which Kate is overtuned is exaggerated because of what I've talked about, but I do think she's overtuned. Her damage could come down. Like what I've talked about this before. I think what I would like to do with Kate is drop her base critical damage rating pretty significantly, which hits her first cold snap, but then tune up the fragilities a little bit. Because then you could leave the ceiling in exactly the same place it is, but she would be less busted on shorter fights. And I think that would be healthier. It's also very possible that because of how diminishing returns works, the ceiling would be in roughly the same place, even if you didn't tune up the fragilities and you just dropped her base critical damage rating. It might end up being a much smaller nerf to the ceiling than it is to the floor, but I think that would be healthy. I don't think anything else would need to change. As for the values, I feel like I've always been decently close, but I don't know. One of the earliest insights I learned in this job was not to attach too much ego to it because you are just kind of throwing numbers at a page. And it's kind of dependent on the champion. Like, because I always do early playtesting before we do anything else. And so sometimes I'll run into something. I'm like, that's not enough. Definitely needs to come up over here, etc. Or come down. I don't really know that I don't know that I've gotten better because I haven't really cared. The important part is getting the mechanics correct and getting like this feels good relative to that as far as doing something, right? Like throwing the heavy here rather than just throwing another combo is important because it lets you do this. I want you to notice within the kit, and then we can tune the overall numbers. Yeah, Scorpion. I'm pretty tired. Yeah, Kate and Hulkling definitely have some things in common. Nah, like honestly, Amigo, I'm just not going to because I don't think that that's. Whoop! That medium didn't work at all. I don't think that's something that's really particularly important. Okay. But yeah, I don't think it's particularly important because like every character is different, right? Every character has different kinds of tuning levers, every amounts of tuning levers. Like, well, that's not how that should work. Luke isn't one of the named targets. It looks like I was getting to... I hate this relic so much. I'm so tired of fixing it. It's not the first time either. I don't know. I wrote it down. I'll chase it later. Okay, now kindly throw your special too, while I can still block it. Thank you. Blade. Jerk. Okay, well, we won't push him to that again, because he's clearly going to be a butthead today. He parried my striker. Sir. Why does Toad's Heavy sometimes eat his prowess and stun? Because it's looking for the wrong things. Bluntly. It's his Sig catches things that just aren't what it thinks it is. It's hard to explain beyond that. I've been meaning to take a look at it now that his original designer doesn't work at the company anymore. But it's a little complicated. Sorry, y'all. Focusing on this one. All right. Yeah, bluntly, TC, there's no way Blade should be able to parry projectiles for the bleeds. It should have the same kind of call out that some of our other abilities do. But that ship has sailed. I didn't say we couldn't, amigo. I think you misunderstood me. It's more that if a character is particularly complicated, and Toad is, then it's often easiest if the person who built them in the first place is the one to fix a bug. Because I didn't code him, and so for me to fix it, I'm going to have to learn things that their original designer wouldn't have. And so it's going to take me longer, and that's going to be less efficient. We fix each other's bugs all the time. But the more complex a character is, the more we would prefer if the original designer was able to help with it.
stupid. Ugh, stupid. Ugh, I countered too early there. My bad.
Okay. Cleaned it. Morning, Sans. What's the bug again? Toad just consumes his prowess and applies stun sometimes when he shouldn't. Um, yeah, that's... I would need more details for that one. Wait, not entirely sure how to respond. That is a huge, huge question, Con. I I'm gonna decline to answer, both because I've answered most parts of it before, and just because that's huge. You're just gonna wait, aren't you?
Hey, buddy. Thank you.
I saw your question, Eternity. I'm not addressing it. No worries. I've started getting a bit luckier, TC, with the 7 stars. Still plenty I want, but yeah, I'm early on in the 7 star life cycle. I felt like it was legitimately fair for me to say that I had terrible 7 star luck, and I don't say that anymore. Oh, I mean, yes, but like that's a huge question. Okay, so here's the Night Thrasher one. I'm probably going to be done after this, but let's go ahead and do this. Interesting. Okay, that's fine. It's all attacks, right? Yeah. I haven't really invested in the mutants that would be good for this. I know Kate can do it. I know Apocalypse can do it. I'm not going to lean into that. I need to do this more in line with what y'all are going to have to. Don't need to tag me for that. There's a survey included in the beta. Yeah, I know it says it's a mutant path. But like, why does the regen matter? I can't figure out why healing factor even does anything here, because if it's supposed to get you back chip damage, I've used that in EQ, and it's not a strong enough regen. So like to me that means you don't really care. Yeah, Danny makes sense for sure with the slow. I thought about bringing her, but she's only rank 1. The regen also applies to the defenders. Are you sure you're not confusing that with buffet? Buffet removed my regen. It says the regen is a passive, is it not? Also, it says true strike, and that's true accuracy. This whole thing needs to be different. Jeez. Hey, Wolf. You're supposed to let the defender evade you so you get the power without putting yourself at risk, but that's not a whiff. That's getting evaded. If that is the goal of this node, then it is worded incorrectly. Yeah, this path sucks. You see how I'm not gaining power on evades? Like, this feels like it's 2 or 3 different paths. Each individually could be fine. But the full thing isn't supported enough. Like, and I don't understand why the healing is here. You have to work so hard to do damage in this fight. Why am I fighting Buffet? Yeah, like I said, the healing on this node is too weak. Fun. Now, there's a bunch of ways to fix it. They need to prioritize one piece of it. If you want me whiffing for power, then regen doesn't need to be here. And honestly, the evade doesn't either. Ugh, fine. Alright, give me a minute. Need to write out some of these. Like, I could see shadowboxing and buffet coexisting. I can see reach within and can't touch this coexisting. And like I can also see reach within and can't touch this coexisting with something like dodge souls so that you're building prowess while you're dexing, but like this no. This doesn't work. But fault, like missing isn't whiffing either, Jeremy. Whiffing refers to when the game doesn't detect a collision at all. It's like it has a specific definition. And you can see that that's what's happening here. Yeah, I lied. I'm gonna bring Kate because I'm not working my way through this. Nah, I don't agree on tech path. He was evading even with Venom. That shouldn't be true. Because I can think about how that would be true, but it Venom should be catching that. Oh yeah. John's probably right. You probably had the Clintar buff eaten by Buffet. That would do it. Thank you, John. Been a while since I've run into that. Ouch. I thought I might do that. That's fine. I think the bigger problem with the whiff node, yeah, like shadowboxing just isn't compatible with the evade gameplay. Is my thought. Because what I was trying to say is that like with how much you're in the corner, you just can't reliably whiff. Like whiffing requires building space, and when you spend this much time you spend this much time just getting out of the way, you can't. The True Strike, it for one thing, true accuracy, not True Strike. It is passive, John. The buffet isn't eating it. I believe you're just misunderstanding that. much.
Evade is stupid.
Or the regen. It's been passive this whole time, John. I think you just must be misremembering or confusing it with a different path. No. Don't worry about it, man. That just clearly isn't going to be enough of a change. But, like, yeah, the path has to be fixed. Because, again, like, I talked about this earlier, I forget if you were here or not, John, but, like, similar to when we were talking about that earlier node, it's not about, like, can you get through this, right? It's the playtester versus player split in approach. It's not about can you get through this. Instead, it's about, like, does this even make sense as an ask? And I don't think this one does, because this is, again, like 2 or 3 different paths on top of each other. It's very much possible to fix it. It's just not there yet. See, like, there are clearly ways through. That was fun. There's just too many things going on, right? I do think you're probably right that it wouldn't need to change much. It's just that right now there's like, yeah, you're operating on 2 or 3 axes. If you can bring that down to 1 or 2 and shore them up, it might even need to be harder in some sense. It just needs to be more focused. Okay, you can full evade that. That was something that I wanted to really look into because if you couldn't, then she'd be a bad fit for this path. But that's good to know. And it's hard to control the healing even with despair, right? Because the rest of the asks of this path just really mess with tempo. I hate her sabotage punishment adjusted with nodes. It's so insane. Felicia, thank you. Ouch. Whew. Yeah, I'm not surprised to see Sans's response there because I agree. I think that like yes, the beta is good, but from the feedback I've heard, I think that it's not just going to be this path gets easier, right? I do think this path needs work, But I actually think other paths probably need to be harder. Okay, I was wondering if those would overlap. The fact that they did suggests to me that it actually is a true strike under the hood. Not that it matters that much for this path. It's not true accuracy. Somebody just plugged in the wrong HUD icon. Whoops, that's my fault. Okay, let's focus on building up some crits. We don't even need the power right now. Hello? Steven? Hey, Jordan, how's it going? Nice, Jordan, that's awesome. Oh, that stings. Okay, close it out. Oh. I was thinking we probably needed more bleeds, honestly, because Cap has more health than Spidey, but I wanted to be done. Ow! How is it always the full moon with you, dude? It's so annoying. That was my fault. Like 100% my fault. But jeez. Stupid stun chain. Oh, and you don't even generate power on the heavies. I'm... Nope. That's fine. Yeah, I bet, Jordan. I know using hurt can get you through a lot of story content, but Battlegrounds? Having a crutch for only 1 round out of 3 that other people probably use better than you do is tough. Okay, no parries. No parries, lots of specials. Honestly, I just don't get to use Tiger much anymore, so let's just do it. I haven't done this fight in way too long. That was not how it starts. Hmm, my bad there. Okay, actually wait until that last bit lands. It's twice now. Okay, this should be it. Yeah, Jordan, for sure. You're gonna get to know your roster a lot better. Yeah, like Easy said, that's a huge part of it. Being forced to use not just more characters, but more characters outside exactly what they were designed for is big. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. I may be back, but we'll see. I'm gonna go watch Bridgerton with my wife for a little bit. Take care, everyone. Hope you enjoy your weekend. And thanks for hanging out. I think I forgot to say that.